Welcome to this haiku screencast. In this screencast, it's everything about image editing under haiku. And we are working with an application called Wonderbrush, and as you might know or didn't notice, haiku also already ships with this application called Wonderbrush. You can find it under the haiku menu, Applications, Wonderbrush. This application allows you, in contrast to other applications like the game or Photoshop, to also work with objects. So every pencil, every stroke you did with your pencil is an object, and you can edit this object. And I will tell you this and show you this later on. But first of all, the normal or the basic GUI introduction. As you can see on the top left, we have our menu, the file menu, where we can open up image files, export them, save them, print them, and quit the application, of course. Then we have the edit menu with some things, of course. And then we have the toolbar, allows us to quickly save, open up some files. Then we have the canvas area here. This canvas area shows normally the open images that we have, so we can open up many images if you want them, and they are sorted in this canvas, and it shows us a little preview of this opened up image. As you can see here, it's we have an on the default start we have a transparent background image here, and you can see this little preview here. Also, you can zoom in if you want to with this little slider here, but as you can see, it's zooming in with this dotted lines here, and you can then pan everywhere around where you want. So let's get back to about 100%. Of course, you have also the buttons here that allow you to zoom in and zoom out. Beneath the or underneath the canvas area, we have the layer area, which shows us the different layers that are on our image, and we can set or create new images, new layers here, or duplicate layer, merge the visible layer parts, and rename the layer, of course, as I can set here this layer to background layer. And if I want to start drawing on a new layer, I simply create a new layer. And we can set, of course, the mode of this layer. And if you want to delete, there's a little trash icon here that allows us to delete the layer. And we can set, of course, the opacity here as well. As we have a transparent background, it does not make sense to set it here. And then we have the very interesting objects area, which allows us to select and see different objects, and not only see them, but also add some filters on them and work with them as we are working with layers. And this is some very interesting kind of working with objects, and everyone who worked already with SVG graphics editors would love this option on a normal bitmap editing tool. And of course, for objects you need properties that you might change, and there's also a property area on the bottom left. Of course, the whole image area, as you can see, is also divided in two parts: the image area and the toolbar area, where we can find all the tools that we need to edit the image, like a pencil tool, an eraser tool, a stamp tool, a blur tool, a tool to fill in, a tool to create some text, and various other tools that allows us to set some options. You can of course set, here, if you choose the brush tool here, you can set the radius of the brush. As you can see, here's a live preview on the left, which shows us how big the radius goes. And if you hit the corners of this little preview, you will see on the left it shows you it's double the size as big as it is shown in this little preview. And as you can go more high here. You can see it's now triple or fourth the size of it showing here. So if I go on to the image here, you can see how big my radius of my brush is now. So now let me go to the normal radius. There's a hardness tool, of course. You can set it to blur a little bit on the edges, as you can see in the live preview. There's a spacing tool that allows us also to set the spacing. Subpixel, tilt and solid as options, and we can also go back, undo changes with this little buttons here that allows easily to undo, redo or apply some settings or effects. And then we have swatches, the swatches area, which allows us to select our color that we want to use for our tool. And yeah, I selected black here, and so let's start something easy. Should be a Z like so, but it didn't work out quite well. But you can see now there's a live preview in the canvas window here, in the canvas area. As you can see, the layer has also changed. There's a little preview here, and the objects area has also changed. And as you can see, there's a new object created here called brush, because we used the brush. And there's also a color associated to this, and there are some properties, as you can see here on the bottom, and we can change those properties like the color. And this is something really cool. So in normal image editing tools, if you want to change the color of those lines that you already did, then you have to go and select the selection tool, and then grab them around this and select the whole stuff, and then change the color and fill it in with this little fill tool. But with this object-oriented graphics image editing tool, you can easily change the color, and even the color of the hardness and the blur that is around this brush that you used, easily by simply grabbing the right color that you want, for example like blue, grabbing it from here, and then simply drag and dropping it on the color here, and you can see we have the whole object now in blue color. So this is one of the very cool features. There are of course other features, like giving not only a layer opacity, but also the different objects an opacity, and this is really cool. If I can show you this when I'm drawing a black line again on top of my blue line, and as you can see, I'm drawing on the same layer basically, and if I'm making this layer change the opacity, both will change, and this is somehow not the effect that you want to reach. And therefore you have the object mode, and you can set the opacity from my second brush object to a lower number, like 50, and you can see it becomes opacity. His opacity changed very quickly, and you can set it to the level you want it to have. This looks cool, I think. And this is everything for this first introduction short screencast into Wonderbrush. There's more still to come, and in the next tutorial session or the next screencast session I will show you how you can do basic editing of already taken images or photos that you might have on your hard disk. So this is everything for this podcast. I hope you enjoyed this, and thanks for watching.